Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Motorsports. You're joined by myself, Mark, and Reece alongside me. We've just finished the final practice session for Abu Dhabi, the practice session 3 here. And George Russell just seems to be in a league of his own regarding this track, and he's still doing very well there. Up in first, Norris and Piastri, though, and McLarens did quite well to get into second and third, but a little bit of concerns for the Red Bulls as well as the Ferraris in terms of their pace for qualifying, which will be on later on today.
Yes, qualifying is going to be quite exciting, but we are expecting the Mercedes-powered cars to really take the top of those charts. As at the moment, at the end of this free practice 3 session, the top 4 drivers are all in Mercedes-powered cars. George Russell topping the timing boards today with a 1:24.418 in the session. Lando Norris then quite close behind him. His fastest lap that he put in was a little bit affected by a slide in the final corner, which we expect him to have been able to make up by about 0.15, so that would have taken him ahead of George Russell, but nonetheless looking very, very competitive for qualifying later on.
Yeah, so Norris, Piastri in second and third, Albon in fourth, Leclerc finished up in fifth only, Verstappen in sixth, Ocon 7, Sargent 8, Tsunoda 9, and Zhou Guanyu topping off our top 10 from that session.
Yes, Sergio Perez then not being able to get up as close to his teammate Max Verstappen, who both of them have just seemingly been struggling a little bit in terms of their pace around the circuit. As I said, Perez down in P11, Hamilton then in 12th, also struggling in relation to his teammate George Russell all the way up in P1. Then we have Pierre Gasly in P13, Alonso and Stroll 14th and 15th. We were hoping that the Aston Martins would have had good pace here today, but they seem to be struggling a little bit as well. Valtteri Bottas then in 16th, Nico Hülkenberg in 17th, Daniel Ricciardo very far off of his teammate Yuki Tsunoda, who's up in P9, Kevin Magnussen then in 19th, and Sainz all the way down in P20.
Yeah, so Carlos Sainz could not improve upon his time properly there right at the end of that session. Of course, he had damage from pre-practice 2 yesterday, but I don't think that really affected his times today. So concerns in the Ferrari garage, perhaps. They were on scrubs when they did those qualifying simulations at the end there, so new softs should get them a little bit quicker, but concerns in terms of where they finish, because right now Mercedes are the ones that are going to be smiling a little bit more, because George Russell looks very much on par to go on and do some really, really good things, not just qualifying later, but the race tomorrow, because he's just looking so quick around the circuit right now.
Yes, and just ahead of this qualifying later on, who do you think, I mean, Russell's looking to be just so dominant, and he makes up sometimes half a second in that final sector. Do you think anyone's going to be able to challenge him?
At this point, I can't see who can, because he's really made... I mean, look, Norris made up a lot of time as well in that final sector. I think he would have gone quicker than George Russell in that final sector there, but he still lost time to Russell, as you say, because he was quicker Norris in those first 2 sectors versus Russell's time. But was still very close to Russell's time. So I think only the McLarens at this point look like they're able to compete with those Mercedes. Of course, they've still got a little bit of time, these teams, to try and get the cars right for qualifying, but they have to do it by estimations because they can't test it. As soon as they go into qualifying, parc fermé then exists, and you cannot change the car from then onwards. So
yes, all you can do is change your front wing, the downforce levels, but only during the race. And before the race, you can change the tyre pressures. That's about it.
Exactly. So not a lot you can change as soon as you start qualifying. So Red Bull are going to have to just guesstimate in terms of trying to fix Verstappen's car. He had lots of issues that session. Was not enjoying it. Was bottoming out quite a bit. And he was really fighting with that steering wheel. So a little bit of concerns for Red Bull, of course. They don't really have to worry too much about this weekend. They've won everything they can, but they'd still like to try and extend all their records and just put on the good show that they've been doing the entire season.
Yes, I'm sure Red Bull will bounce back, but I'm seeing the messages from Max Verstappen saying, we've got a good compromise, but ...
Yeah.
What's going to happen
what's going to happen in qualifying? So speaking of what's going to happen in qualifying, as we get towards the end of this review, we've seen obviously all of the drivers' whereabouts. They are the Mercedes drivers, or the Mercedes engined cars, looking a lot better than most of the grid. Who is your top 3 for qualifying? Who's going to be on pole? Who's right alongside them? What's happening in qualifying?
It's difficult. I think George Russell is going to take the top spot, but you also have to take into consideration last night what we saw in that running, because the Mercedes weren't as fast in the cooler temperatures, which is what we're going to get in qualifying obviously later on. But at the same time, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I do think Max Verstappen should be able to ramp up the pace a little bit. I think the Ferraris as well. So I'm going to go Russell, Verstappen, Leclerc.
very interesting prediction because I'm going to throw an even bolder prediction out there. I think Russell's been very quick, and I think the Ferraris have a lot more time to find. And I think they've just hidden it a little bit there because they did have a little bit more fuel than they would have liked. And I think energy might not have been where it was. They seemed confident still right at the end of that session. They didn't seem too concerned on the radio with regards to what was happening. So I reckon they're quietly confident about what could happen this race weekend. I'm going to say Charles Leclerc in pole, Russell in second, and Norris in third. That's going to be my prediction for qualifying later. And I also think we will have a red flag.
You're not putting Max Verstappen in the top 3?
No. I'm putting Max Verstappen outside the top 3. I think that might happen. So I'm saying, again, I'm going to go through it. Leclerc first, Russell second, Norris in third. And I do think we will have a red flag in qualifying as well.
I'm not doubting that there will be a yellow or a red. Someone will probably end up in the barriers, but we'll have to wait and see what does happen later on this afternoon. Be sure to join us for that session, as well as be sure to check out all of our channel partners, BITDEFENDER, as well as BOYLESPORTS for all of your betting needs. BITDEFENDER, of course, being the global leader in cyber security. Be sure to go and check out those partners in the description below. And be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel as well so that you can stay up to date with all of the latest Formula 1 news on this Forever Motorsports channel. And be sure to as well check out our Discord server that we have so that we can just chat throughout the break in between the current 2023 and then next year's 2024 season and keep you up to date with all the latest news.
Exactly that, guys. Thank you so much for joining myself, Mark, and Reece alongside me. We'll see you in the next stream, which we're going to be taking straight across to, and we'll go live for the qualifying in Abu Dhabi, the final race weekend of the 2023 season. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.